You want to know what betrayal feels like. Try watching your wife cheat on you with your own brother. Then try hearing your parents say you need to be the bigger person, that you need to support them financially, no less after they chose him. But to really understand how I got here, you have to know what came before it. My whole life was leading up to that moment of betrayal. I'm 34 now. My name's Andrew. I was 8 when my younger brother, Jake, was born, and that's basically when I disappeared from my parents' lives. Robert and Sarah, my mom and dad, weren't cruel, but I might as well have been wallpaper in that house. Jake was the son, the golden child. Everything revolved around him. I was just the shadow. The favoritism wasn't subtle. It screamed from the walls of our house, literally. Participation ribbons from Jake's T-ball days covered every inch of our living room. Meanwhile, my first-place science fair ribbon earned for a working orbital model of the solar system. Mind you, sat unopened on the mantel for a week before it vanished into a dusty basement box. When Jake got a C+ in math, it was ice cream and celebration. When I brought home straight A's, A distracted, "That's nice, honey," while Dad polished Jake's latest sports trophy. When I got into the advanced placement program, Mom actually worried that it might make Jake feel insecure. By the time he turned 16, he got a new car to boost his confidence. I was already working part-time just to buy my own clothes and save for college. I remember my high school graduation like it was yesterday. I was valedictorian. I gave a speech. I announced my MIT scholarship to a standing ovation from everyone except my parents, who were too busy snapping photos of Jake fidgeting in the bleachers. I didn't even get a family dinner that night. They'd already booked one for Jake's great start to baseball season, and when I mentioned MIT again, my mom barely looked up. "That's nice, honey, but did you hear Jake might be a pitcher next season?" That's when it hit me. No matter what I achieved, it was never going to be enough. I wasn't the star. I was the prototype, the test run, just the practice kid. So, at 18, I packed my things, cashed in every penny from 3 part-time jobs, and went to MIT on a partial scholarship. My parents dropped me off early because Jake had a summer league game. They didn't even help me unpack. But college was freedom. For the first time in my life, I wasn't Jake's older brother. I was just me. I dove into software architecture, built a name for myself in distributed systems, and graduated with honors. 5 job offers came through right after graduation. I picked one in Boston, partly because it was home, partly because I still hoped, stupidly, that maybe my parents would finally see me. They didn't. Not really. They were too busy helping Jake through his 3rd college major switch. He couldn't pick between film studies and business management. I was running my own development team by then, youngest senior dev in the company's history. They didn't even know what my job was. Then, 4 years ago, I met Amy. That's when things finally started to feel right. She was working at a cafe near my office, finishing her teaching degree. She had this habit of writing kind little notes on my coffee cups, quotes, compliments, even puns. I hadn't even noticed until she finally pointed it out. That's how laser-focused I was on work back then. But once I noticed her, I couldn't look away. We talked for 6 hours on our first date, about our dreams, our trauma, our childhoods. I told her about Jake, about my parents, about feeling invisible. She didn't laugh. She didn't say I was overreacting. She said, "They're blind. They never saw what they had." We fell hard, fast, Boston bookstores on weekends, home-cooked dinners, trips to New Hampshire. When I landed a huge promotion, Amy celebrated harder than I did. 14 months after we met, I proposed. She cried, said she'd been hoping I would. Our wedding was small and perfect. Except for one thing, my parents. They spent the entire reception talking about who else Jake. He just landed a new job opportunity in California, and Mom interrupted Amy's dad's toast to read Jake's text about a second interview. Looking back, that should have been a red flag. But Amy just laughed and said, "At least they love him that much." That was Amy, always trying to see the good. Our marriage was solid for 3 beautiful years. We bought a cozy Cambridge condo, started talking about having kids. She filled our home with warmth and memories, pictures of our trips, little container gardens, shared routines. She'd say, "It's us against the world," and I believed her. Then Jake came back. After failing to vibe with California's startup culture, he returned to Boston. He sent me this long, emotional email about wanting to rebuild our relationship. Amy, ever the optimist, said people can change. Give him a chance. So I did. We had dinner. It was awkward, but he seemed more self-aware. Said he wanted to make things right. I even introduced him to Amy. They got along instantly. Too well. In hindsight, Jake started coming by regularly. He'd bring wine, make jokes, act like a new man. He even stood up for me at family dinners. For a moment, I thought maybe we were finally becoming real brothers. But then things got weird. Jake would stop by while I was at work. Amy said it was no big deal. They were just hanging out while she graded papers. He used my coffee mug. Made inside jokes with my wife. Their laughter would die when I entered the room. Amy's phone always flipped a screen down when I sat beside her. I ignored it. I didn't want to believe it. Then came the pregnancy announcement. Amy told me during dinner, Jake sitting right there beside her. I was stunned. But Jake? He wasn't. He just smiled. A smug, knowing smile that made my blood run cold. And he didn't back off. He touched her stomach, talked about our child's future, invited himself on our baby moon. The baby needs both of us, he said. Amy agreed. The night I found the truth, I couldn't sleep. Amy's phone was on the nightstand. I had never looked through it in 6 years, but that night, I had to know, hundreds of texts, secret meetups, hotel rooms, future plans, conversations about their baby. They'd been sleeping together since shortly after Jake moved back. It wasn't an accident. The pregnancy was strategic. They were waiting until I was too emotionally invested to walk away. I read every message until dawn. When Amy woke up and saw me holding her phone, she didn't even deny it, just cried and said Jake understood her better, that they clicked, the oldest, most cliché excuse in the affair handbook. I called my parents, hoping, praying that this time, they'd stand by me. Nope, Jake made a mistake. Mom said, but he's going to be a father now. You need to forgive him. Be the bigger person. Think of the baby born from their son sleeping with my wife. I hung up, called a divorce lawyer, checked into a hotel that morning. Jake tried to corner me at work, wanting a man-to-man chat. I had him escorted out by security. I reported him for harassment. The divorce was brutal. Amy and Jake painted me as emotionally cold and controlling. My parents backed them, claiming I'd always been jealous of Jake. My own mother blamed the mediator for not siding with Jake's needs. Eventually, I stopped playing nice. We went to court. Amy still got alimony, apparently. Massachusetts doesn't care if your wife cheats on you with your brother. But I kept the condo, kept most of my salary, cut ties with my entire family. I'm 34, divorced, and completely alone. But for the first time in my life, I'm free. I changed my email, blocked their numbers, told building security not to let them in. And yet, part of me still wondered, was there anything I could have done differently? Was I not a good enough husband, not a good enough son? But no, I didn't betray anyone. I didn't sleep with my brother's wife. I didn't break up a marriage. I'm tired of being the scapegoat, tired of being the bigger person. I've lived my whole life being invisible. Not anymore. But just when I thought the nightmare was over, it got weirder. Just when I thought I had closed the door on the nightmare that was my family, they kicked it open and tried to drag me back in with a fresh set of demands and a shocking new low. It started with a phone call from Aunt Linda. I hadn't spoken to her in years, but she skipped the greetings and jumped right into a guilt trip. Your brother and Amy are struggling. She said, Jake still can't find work, and they're almost out of money. She sounded like a debt collector pleading on behalf of 2 con artists. Apparently, word about the affair had spread through Jake's professional network. Prospective employers withdrew offers after background checks. No one wanted to touch him. For once, his actions had consequences. And my parents, Oh, they were bleeding themselves dry, trying to bail Jake and Amy out. Groceries, rent, prenatal care, all coming from my father's retirement fund. They were panicking. Their solution: me. They wanted me to step in and financially support the woman who shattered my heart and the brother who lit the match. My mother didn't just show up at my office, she orchestrated an ambush. She waited in the lobby for over an hour and demanded to speak with me. When I finally came down to end the circus, she launched into some pre-written monologue about forgiveness and duty. "You know, we've always supported both our sons," she said. I laughed out loud. Supported me. I paid for my own education. I paid for my life. But she wasn't done. "It's time for you to step up," she said. "Jake's going through a rough patch. A rough patch. My wife got pregnant from his affair, and they lied about it for months. That's not a rough patch, it's a malicious, calculated betrayal." Then she had the audacity to say, "Well, maybe if you'd paid more attention to Amy's needs." I didn't even let her finish. I called security and had her escorted out. Loud enough for the entire lobby to hear, I said, "Yes, I am leaving my brother and his child behind." I could feel the eyes of my co-workers burning into me, some in sympathy, others in judgment, but I didn't care. I wasn't hiding anymore. Later that night, Jake emailed me from a burner account, a nauseating mix of weak apologies and pleas for help, cloaked in guilt. He even attached a sonogram photo, his attempt to weaponize the unborn child against me. I could see right through it. They were using the baby as a tool to manipulate me. The next morning, my father showed up at my apartment complex, claiming he just wanted to talk. I didn't let him in. He then stood in the lobby for 2 hours, telling everyone within earshot how his successful son was letting his brother's family suffer. I had to notify the building management and have all of them permanently banned. They weren't done. Oh no, they went online. Amy started posting cryptic messages on Facebook about being abandoned during pregnancy. Jake reposted them, adding passive-aggressive comments like, "Some people need to learn responsibility." Responsibility from the man who seduced his brother's wife, lied for months, and then tried to extort the victim. It made my blood boil, but I didn't lash out. I got smart. I started documenting everything: screenshots, emails, witness accounts. My lawyer told me it might be necessary in case they tried anything in court. Turns out, she was right. A few weeks later, I was hit with a court notice. Amy and Jake were trying to sue me for more financial support, claiming changed circumstances. My stomach twisted, but my lawyer. She was fired up. We had the receipts. Literally. The courtroom felt surreal. Amy walked in flaunting her baby bump like it was Exhibit A in her sympathy campaign. Jake wore my father's old suit, trying to look humble. Our parents sat smugly behind them like they were proud of the spectacle. Their lawyers started spinning a narrative so absurd, I almost laughed. They claimed I underestimated the emotional fallout from the divorce. They said I had sabotaged Jake's career. They even implied that I was putting Amy's pregnancy at risk with my vindictiveness. Then it was our turn. My lawyer played the surveillance footage, my mother's dramatic lobby tantrum, Jake's aggressive confrontation at my office, Amy sneaking in through the rear entrance. Then she displayed the social media campaign they waged against me. But the knockout punch. Financial records. Jake had turned down multiple jobs, not because I sabotaged him, but because he believed the positions were beneath him. Amy. She declined a full-time teaching offer just to continue playing the unemployed, struggling victim. Her medical records showed no high-risk pregnancy, no unusual complications, just an average, healthy case. They were using their unborn child as a prop in a money grab. The judge wasn't having it. He stopped their lawyer mid-argument. "Your client appears to be committing perjury." The judge snapped, "Do you want to continue down this path?" They took a recess. When they returned, Amy was sobbing. Jake looked like a ghost, and their case had unraveled. The judge denied their motion. Not only that he slashed my alimony payments by 60%, this court does not reward those who abuse the legal system. He said, "Mr. Smith is the clear victim of a deliberate scheme. The fallout was immediate. Amy suddenly realized she could work and accepted that teaching job. Jake, faced with mounting pressure, got a retail gig. Their lawyer dropped them, citing irreconcilable differences regarding truthfulness. My company upgraded security and officially banned all of them from our premises. I later found out my parents had taken out a second mortgage to pay their legal fees. Jake and Amy were constantly arguing about money. Gossip travels fast in old social circles. For the first time in what felt like forever, I could breathe. I could save again. I could look forward. And that's when Seattle called. A new job offer, a fresh start, a generous promotion. I said yes, letting people feel the consequences of their own decisions. That's the best revenge. But even then, I knew it wasn't over. A few weeks later, Aunt Linda called again. She'd always stayed out of the drama, so I listened briefly. "Your father's not getting any younger," she began, her voice dripping with forced concern. "He's so stressed. They might lose their home." She tried the guilt angle, hard. Claimed my mother cried herself to sleep every night. Claimed that no matter what happened, Jake was still my brother. I let her speak. Then I cut her off. "Are you talking about the affair? The pregnancy? The months of lies? That betrayal?" Her response. "Well, maybe if you'd been more attentive in your marriage." I laughed. Really, actually laughed. They were still trying to blame me for all of it, so I turned it back on her. "Linda, if you care so much, why don't you help them? You've got money, 3 rental homes, a successful husband. Why is it my responsibility?" She stammered. "It's different. You're his brother, and you said you didn't want to take sides, but here you are, siding with the people who destroyed my life." Then she delivered her big, dramatic threat. "Your father might retire early. They may lose the house. Do you really want that on your conscience?" I said. "No. I want them to lose the house for protecting the son who destroyed his own brother. Let them face what they've earned. I'm not cleaning up this mess." Her last attempt was desperate. "One day, when you're older and alone, you'll regret not having family." No, I told her, one day, I'd regret losing my self-respect, and I'm finally choosing to keep it. I blocked her, and in that moment, something clicked. I felt free. For the first time since childhood, the guilt was gone. I accepted the Seattle job that same day, sold my condo, packed my life, and yesterday, my coworkers, my real support system, threw me a farewell party. They gave me a card, signed by everyone. One message stood out. "Your worth isn't defined by those who never saw it." That line will stay with me forever, because family isn't just blood. Family is the people who show up, who stand by you, who tell you the truth even when it hurts. To my parents, Jake, Amy, and now Linda. Your choices brought you here. I'm done paying the price. I'm not your scapegoat. I'm not your ATM. And I'm done. I'm headed to Seattle. A new city. A new start. A new life. And for the first time, I'll finally get to live it. As me. As I sit alone in my empty condo. Cardboard boxes stacked around me like silent sentinels. I realize how symbolic this moment truly is. This space once filled with love, betrayal, heartbreak, and confrontation is now just 4 walls echoing with the end of a long, painful chapter. I move tomorrow. I drive west, toward Seattle, toward a new job, a new home, a new beginning, and I won't look back. For those wondering, yes, the baby was born last week, Jake and Amy's child, the living embodiment of a betrayal so deep it nearly broke me. I haven't asked for photos. I haven't called. I haven't sent gifts or messages. That door is shut. Permanently. I didn't just walk away from a toxic relationship. I walked away from an entire family built on favoritism, manipulation, and emotional abandonment. Because here's what I've come to understand. We are not obligated to stay loyal to the people who hurt us just because we share blood. I spent my entire life being the scapegoat, the one who was told to be the bigger person, the one expected to clean up messes I never made, to carry the weight of everyone else's mistakes. Not anymore. This isn't just a goodbye to Amy, or Jake, or even my parents. It's a farewell to the little boy who never felt seen, to the man who kept bending over backward for people who never once reached out their hands. It's closure, not the dramatic, confrontational kind, but the quiet, unshakable peace that comes from reclaiming your self-worth. I'm grateful to every single person who supported me through this storm, to the strangers online who reminded me that I wasn't crazy, that I wasn't weak, that walking away wasn't failure, it was freedom. You helped me hold the line when I doubted myself. You reminded me that worth isn't measured by the love we failed to receive, but by how fiercely we choose to love ourselves. If you're watching this and you're in a similar place, hear this. You are not broken for wanting respect. You are not selfish for walking away, and you are not alone. Sometimes the most self-loving, courageous thing we can do is let go. This is it, the final post, the last look in the rearview mirror before I start the engine and head toward something better, something mine. Here's to fresh starts, to freedom, and to finally living without apology. Thank you for watching. If this story touched you in any way, comment 1 down below so I know it resonated with you. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss another powerful real-life story. And please share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're feeling right now. Cheers to never being someone else's second choice again. This story reveals a painful yet powerful truth sometimes. The people who are supposed to love us unconditionally can become the ones who hurt us most deeply. At its core, this is a story about reclaiming self-worth in the face of betrayal, manipulation, and lifelong emotional neglect. The main character spends years trying to earn validation from a family that consistently prioritized the needs of others, particularly a younger brother over his own achievements and well-being. His wife's affair with that same brother was not just a personal betrayal, but the culmination of a lifetime of being overlooked and undervalued. When his parents sided with the betrayers and demanded he offer forgiveness and financial support, the protagonist made a courageous choice. He walked away. In doing so, he discovered something far more powerful than vengeance: self-respect. The story reminds us that family is not defined by DNA, but by those who uplift, respect, and stand by us in truth. It takes immense strength to sever ties with toxic loved ones, especially when guilt, shame, and societal expectations pressure us to maintain those bonds. But sometimes, healing begins with distance. The story also highlights the importance of boundaries, documentation, and legal awareness when dealing with manipulation and harassment. In the end, the protagonist finds peace not through revenge, but by building a life where he is finally seen and valued for who he is, not in comparison to others. The lesson is clear: it is never too late to choose yourself. No one owes loyalty to people who consistently harm them. Self-love is not selfish, it is survival. And sometimes, the bravest thing we can do is walk away, start over, and build a new definition of family on our own terms. Thank you so much for watching this powerful story. If you found value in it, if it made you think, feel, or even helped you reflect on your own life, please comment 1 down below to let us know. Your feedback means the world to us. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more eye-opening and emotional real-life stories just like this one. Make sure to like the video, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, share this video with someone who might need to hear this message today. We'd also love to hear from you what part of this story hit you the hardest. Was it the betrayal, the courage to walk away, or the moment of healing and clarity? Drop your thoughts and feelings in the comments. We read every single one. Until next time, take care of your heart, protect your peace, and remember, sometimes walking away is the most powerful thing you can do.